Hey ya folks, how's it going? I'm Lexi and I like games, so much so that every week, once a week here on the gaming table, I review a new one with you guys. If that sounds interesting to you, I encourage you to hit subscribe and keep watching. Today I am reviewing a game that I have had my eye on for a while, so I am definitely excited to be talking about this one. I just want to briefly mention before I get into today's review that this game manual has a lot of body horror themed art, and I will be showing those pages. If this makes you want to skip this review entirely, that is totally a-okay, and I will see you whenever you're ready. I will say, in my opinion, the body horror art is very artistically interesting, and to me it doesn't feel gratuitous to the game. So let's just dive in. From Magpie Games, this is Bluebeard's Bride. From the title alone, I think you can gather a little bit about what this game is about. For those not in the know, Bluebeard's Bride is sort of a dark fairy tale. A young woman marries a very wealthy man called Bluebeard, on account of his blue beard, and he welcomes her to their new home together. He unfortunately gets a call to go away on business and hands to his bride a set of keys. He tells her that she can explore any part of the house except for one room. Then, as the day proceeds and Bluebeard is away, the bride explores all the different rooms, until eventually she comes to the forbidden room. When she enters that room, she finds the mangled bodies and vats of blood from the previous brides of this serial monogamist. The bride then is likely to drop her keys or some sort of item which is then stained with blood, proving her guilt of having broken his trust. Then the tale generally concludes with the bride running to her family to tell them of what Bluebeard has been doing, and generally they then come and kill Bluebeard. While the story of brides being married to monstrous husbands is a pretty old theme, the tale originally dates from the late 17th century, and I think it's French. This game takes place in that story. Players play the bride who is exploring the different rooms in her new home and trying to decide whether or not Bluebeard is a guilty or innocent man. The bride does this by looking for items which might indicate his past. Every single player in this game is not playing an individual character but the bride themselves. I'll explain how that works a bit later. The keeper then takes on the role of the rest of the house, the servants, and potentially even Bluebeard himself. Bluebeard's Bride is a Powered by the Apocalypse game. It's a system I'm pretty familiar with, and if you've been watching me for a while, you know that we like it here too. Generally, to do anything in the game, you will need to make a move. To perform this move, the player needs to roll 2d6, add the results together, and then apply a modifier to that result. That modifier could be anything from a -1 up to around a +2. A 7 is a success, generally with a cost of some kind. A 10 and above can be a success without a cost. And a 6 and below is a failure with consequences. The Game Master, known as the Keeper, for mixed successes or outright failures, will often need to make moves against the players, provide a consequence for their action. This is to move the story forward. It's not ever to really punish the players for having a bad roll. Perhaps a character makes a bad decision or miscalculates, and there are going to be things that happen because of that. Something slightly unusual about this game is that the players do not each play a different character. All of the players play the Bride of Bluebeard. Each player gets to choose from a variety of playbooks. Each of these playbooks are aspects of the bride which are also linked to concepts and aspects of womanhood in general. There's the Animus, who's about violence, the Fatale, who's the plotter and seducer, the Mother, who speaks to power, the Virgin, who is innocence, and the Witch, who is about cunning and deceit. Each player chooses a playbook from this game and chooses 2 out of the 3 suggested moves that they can get for that playbook. One of these moves that they've chosen is actually going to be a secret from the other players until it might get revealed. But if they come into play, the player who has that move has no obligation to reveal the truth to the other players. There are some general moves that are available to all players. These are care for someone, investigate a mysterious object, and take stock. Any player can use these at any time. Throughout the game, each of the bride's aspects and the players will get to take charge of the investigation. This is done by exchanging through the group the ring. This is the bride's wedding band, but it represents which aspect is currently leading the story. Having the ring also allows you access to some other special moves, such as Shiver from Fear, Caress a Horror, Dirty Yourself with Violence, and Cry Out for Help. The final move is to give up the ring. I also want to mention Shiver from Fear because it's actually a move that is about the players, not necessarily the characters. If you as the ring bearer go into a situation that makes your spine sort of crawl in that exciting but scary way, you are actually obliged by the rules of the game to tell the groundskeeper what you're feeling. They will ask you what you suspect will happen, and then the groundskeeper gets to reveal how the situation is so much worse than you imagined. Throughout the story, the bride will travel from room to room searching for objects that either prove Bluebeard to be a guilty killer or an innocent, misunderstood man. The bride then takes this object with them on their journey. When the bride has 3 objects that either prove his innocence or guilt, she then gets to go to the final room. Investigating an item helps you progress the story. This isn't an easy thing though. Sometimes it can lead to danger, and if an aspect of the bride takes on too much danger and damage, they will become shattered, and they can fade out of the game. Being the player with the ring gives you power, but also exposes you to danger. If you are in danger, you always have the option to flee the room without your object of investigation, but that does automatically mean you give up the ring to another aspect. I won't reveal the mechanics for the conclusion of the game because I want to leave some surprises, but I really enjoy how these mechanics build in on fear and really engage with what makes horror so compelling. Bluebeard's Bride is a very rich game in themes, particularly how womanhood puts a lens of interpretation onto horror and gothic. I would be prepared to feel suspense and adrenaline while playing this game. There is a pretty thorough chapter on safety rules, so you can steer away from things that are too close to home, but the game does want you to get in touch with feeling afraid. A copy of this game manual is just under $50 US, and for all the hard work that's gone into it, I can absolutely see why that is so. The art alone is beautiful, and the way this book is written is it's not just telling you how to play a game. There's this own horror story coming from the game manual itself, as phrases like help me and run sort of float to the top of the text underneath the rules. I have to say I am really tempted to now go and collect all the supplements for it, but I will try hold back. I really feel like this game was written for someone like me in mind who really loves the gothic genre. I have a huge soft spot for it, so I have to admit that that is a bias of mine. This game is embracing the genre to look at womanhood and the fear and suspense it can evoke. But what did you think of the game? What do you think about players having mechanics that they keep secret from the other players? Or mechanics that are designed to explore or bring to the surface how players are feeling, not just the characters? Let me know in the comments down below. While you're there, I encourage you to subscribe, like, turn on notifications, maybe even share with a friend. It actually all helps this channel keep going, and the more views I get, the closer I get to monetization, which would give me more time to make these videos. Basically, every little bit helps, and I always appreciate it. I also have a Ko-Fi page where you can see some of the behind the scenes when I remember to update it, or you can donate to help keep this channel afloat. I hope you're all well, and I look forward to seeing you next time at the gaming table. Bye!